The Paramurder cast may contain graphic material, not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Prepare to journey into the macabre, where reality blurs with nightmares. This is the Paramurder cast, where the unseen becomes the unforgettable, and your nightmares find a voice. Let the horrors begin.
All right, welcome back to Paramurdercast. This is episode 11, Dennis Rader, a.k.a. BTK. I'm your host, Daniel.
Amanda.
I'm CJ. And I'm Berto.
All right, we're finally back, guys. So we took a long hiatus. It has been, I think, 9 months since episode 10.
Has it been?
Yeah, I think it's been about 9 months. For everybody listening, I mean, we took a long hiatus. We reworked everything. We have new mic setups, new boards, new websites, new everything. If you're listening, please go out and check out the website at paramurdercast.com. We integrated our store onto the website. We have all of our social media links out there as well. So please go check out our Facebook. Amanda's working really hard trying to keep a blog post going every single day. She's talking to everybody that goes there and visits. So if you want to communicate with her or check out anything that she's working on, please visit the Facebook.
Do you want to introduce Amanda?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and introduce Amanda. Amanda, would you like to say anything?
Hi, guys. I'm Amanda. Like Daniel said, go check out our blog. I post a haunting blog and a true crime series blog every day. There's something new to read, and you can go subscribe and request something that you'd like to hear. I also respond to comments daily. I think that's it.
That works.
Yeah, that's it.
What? How's everybody doing? You guys glad to be back?
I am happy to be back.
Does anybody else know anything about BTK other than me and Amanda?
I know a little bit. I don't know. I didn't get into in depth on him a whole lot, but I know a little bit.
Yeah, this dude's an absolute creep.
So as the reading goes, you might hear genuine, actual reactions to what he's done, because I know, like I said, just a little bit. I know he was a serial killer. I know how he was caught because he was stupid, apparently, but a lot of stuff in the middle and everything he did is going to be new to me.
Yeah, for somebody as calculated as he tried to be, he's actually probably one of the worst bumbling idiots of all the serial killers that we're going to cover.
Do you have low IQ?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, he did graduate college. We'll go over that. So, I mean,
which made him super smart, because you have to be a genius to graduate college.
Oh, yeah, no, but I would say he was probably like slightly below average.
He was
slightly below average. You know,
he actually studied criminal justice like Koberger.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's probably what gave him like, I can get away with this.
I mean, he meticulously planned. He just never pulled it off.
Ego.
No, he just never pulled it off. We'll get into that. How you doing, CJ?
Doing great.
You ready to be back finally too?
Yeah.
And for everybody listening, David will not be returning to the show. So your cast moving forward will be the 4 people that are here with you today.
You're stuck with me.
Yeah, he did decide to focus on his career over doing the podcast. So that's one of the reasons we took a little break.
It's okay, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I did talk to him. He said that he may be willing to like step in on days that Berto has to step away for work as well and travel. He said maybe on those days he'll come visit and kind of sub in.
It'd be fun to have David as a guest.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So, I liked him. I thought he was.
I've asked a few people. I'm trying to make sure to line up that way. If anybody has to be missing, that we'll have some people. I've asked David, and then I've asked our friend Doug to see if he would also be willing to travel up
Doug.
here. Yeah, Doug's a great dude.
We also have our ladies' night show. The other host for that, Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. She can also join as well.
Yep.
So we need to reach out to her. So, and for everybody who's listening, if you heard prior and in previous episodes, we are going to introduce another show that will mostly live on Patreon. I am going to release, I think, probably episode 1 and 2 on the regular feed, but that will just be the ladies, Amanda and Chelsea, and they'll be doing Paramurdercast Ladies Night. So that will be available. I'm hoping to have that up probably 3 episodes from when you're listening right now. And that should be good fun. I think you guys are going to cover, said hometown homicides first is kind of going to be your theme.
Yeah, hometown homicides. We will be covering mostly Butler County crime, but we will also be covering some psychological investigations. The first being accomplices, looking into the psychology of accomplices to serial killers and girlfriends of serial killers.
Oh, that'll actually be really interesting. We'll be excited to hear that. So I wanted to keep everything short at the beginning. We're going to try to minimize our talking in between sections. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this and get into the early life and the career path of Dennis Rader, aka BTK.
Dennis Lynn Rader was born on March 9th, 1945, in Pittsburgh, Kansas, the oldest of 4 sons to William, a World War II Marine and Kansas gas service worker. Dorothy, a bookkeeper. The deeply religious family were members of the Zion Lutheran Church, and they later moved to Wichita, where Rader would spend most of his formative years. On the surface, Rader's childhood appeared ordinary. He attended Riverview School and Wichita Heights High School, where classmates described him as a humorless, unremarkable student who hung back in the background. He grew up in a working-class household, attended church regularly, and blended seamlessly into mid-century Kansas life. Beneath this exterior, however, troubling patterns were forming. Rader later described feeling neglected by his parents, particularly his mother, claiming this emotional distance shaped his inner world. He admitted to developing violent sexual fantasies centered on bondage and control from an early age, often spying on female neighbors while dressed in stolen women's underwear. His sadistic impulses extended to zoosadism. He tortured, killed, and hung small animals, a recognized indicator in the Macdonald Triad of sociopathic behavior. One frequently noted detail from his childhood is a head injury he suffered as a boy. Some criminologists consider this significant due to the documented links between early head trauma and subsequent behavioral or impulse control issues. While no single factor explains his crimes, this injury is often discussed alongside his emotional detachment and these early acts of cruelty. After a brief and mediocre stint at Kansas Wesleyan University, Rader enlisted in the United States Air Force in June 1966. He served as an antenna installer and maintenance specialist, with postings in Alabama, Turkey, Greece, South Korea, and Japan, earning a medal for good conduct. He received an honorable discharge in 1970 at the rank of Staff Sergeant. Rader later credited the Air Force for teaching him about sex. His military service provided structure while reinforcing his ability to compartmentalize, a skill that would later enable his double life. After his discharge in 1970, Rader returned to Wichita. On May 22, 1971, he married Paula Dietz, a secretary for the American Legion, in a ceremony at Christ Lutheran Church. They built an apparently ordinary suburban life in Park City, Kansas, raising a son, Brian, and a daughter, Carrie. Alongside building his family life, Rader continued his education, earning an associate degree in electronics from Butler County Community College in 1973. To neighbors and friends, Rader embodied the ideal family man. He was active in his Lutheran church, eventually serving as president of the council, volunteered as a Cub Scout leader, attended school events, and held steady employment. Paula and the children knew him as strict but dependable. His daughter, Carrie Rawson, would later describe him as a good dad who took her camping and supported her education. The family remained unaware of this secret life, making the Rader household a stark example of his compartmentalization. Rader held various jobs, including the meat department of an IGA and as an assembler at Coleman, where 2 of his future victims, Julie Otero and Kathryn Bright, also worked. His most notable role was with ADT Security Services from 1974 to 1988, installing home alarm systems for clients who were ironically seeking protection from the very killer he was. His coworkers nicknamed him Blue Book Man for his rigid adherence to rules. He later graduated from Wichita State University in 1979 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Administration of Justice, an ironic choice given his hidden activities. In 1991, he became a compliance officer for Park City, where neighbors described him as an overzealous and petty authoritarian, often citing residents for minor infractions like long grass, a visible expression of his need for control that bordered on bullying, especially towards single women.
Yeah, this dude is absolutely a douchebag.
And from what he just read, that's why he has attention issues, where he wants attention, which is why he
Yeah, I also do find it weird that
because he felt neglected by his family. And
I find it weird that people can juggle a dual lifestyle like that. It's not a talent I would have. I definitely don't think I could like break it up between being like this complete sociopath and psychopath and then come home and just like smile and hang out with my children.
It's the what is that word?
Compartmentalization.
Compartmentalization. That is the word I was trying to say.
I just raped a woman or masturbated on her face, but I'm going to go home and bake cookies with my kid.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I absolutely couldn't do it. So, I mean, as
so messed up.
It is, but like,
I like some cookies.
There's three of us at the table that are parents. And it's like, if I do something wrong and I go back and look at my children, that shit eats me alive. I'm
going to leave a Boy Scout camp to go rape this bitch.
Yeah, I couldn't go back and then look at my child.
Just came back. I got the raping badge.
And just chill. But it's weird. And it's one thing to do that, but then also, lead a church and then go get college degrees. And I mean, this dude was busy for as much as kind of
the compliance. I'm a compliance officer, but I'm gonna go measure your grass while I'm out here breaking into bitches' houses.
Yeah,
like what?
Yeah, there were a ton of stories of his compliance officer days.
He loved control. He had to be in control.
I chose to kind of introduce his jobs and stuff prior to going into the murders to just kind of make it feel better. I don't want to break everything up, but
it's a serial killer. You can't really make it feel better.
I meant like the flow of how we introduce things, right? I think going into a murder and then trying to go back and talk about him switching jobs just feels weird. Yeah. So I just went ahead and talked about
a little information beforehand on him.
Yeah, but it's a good note to understand that when he became a compliance officer is during the years where he just went quiet. That we'll see later on.
Ma'am, okay. Where was your husband? Your grass is 2 inches too long. I'm a single mother.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate. Here's a ticket.
Here's a ticket. I'll be back later.
But here's a ticket. I'm going to need to be in your house for a minute.
Yeah, but that control kind of stroked his ego enough to where he actually, he didn't kill during that phase.
It did stroke his ego enough that, he wasn't really out.
Yeah. And I guess it's cool to mention right now, but Amanda did write him a letter. So she is going to send. So hopefully
please tell me you didn't put in there and say, I'm a single woman.
Oh, no. But she stroked his ego, though. She definitely stroked his ego.
I was going to spray it with perfume.
Yeah. And send it to him.
Probably beaten off.
That's what Daniel said.
Right
Daniel said he was going to beat off to it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be something he holds on to.
In my head, like I've never heard the guy speak, so right now he sounds like Kenneth Kniff from Connecticut. Like a little bit, he's like, I smell your perfume. Oh yeah.
I would say
want to tie you up.
Very BTK-esque.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, hopefully later on.
I want to film you on VHS tapes. Yeah. No DVDs here.
That's enough of that.
Oh, you want to join in too?
I've got my own special plastic bag for you.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, hopefully later we'll be able to give everybody an update if he returns the letter, which from what I heard, he actually does. Okay. So, but
be interesting. If he does, then we can read it.
Now we kind of know his jobs and what he went through. I guess it's time to get down to the nitty gritty of these murders. And some of these are atrocious. So I will go ahead and say before we roll into it, if you do not like hearing anything that has to do with sexualizing children because he does, or harming children, please go ahead and turn off the podcast or skip ahead, because the first murder that he opens up with, there are children involved. So you have your warning there. So let's get into the Otero family murders.
In the days leading up to January 15th, 1974, Dennis Rader began his grim preparations by making repeated telephone calls to the Otero residence at 803 North Edgemore Street in Wichita, Kansas. He would listen intently when Julie Otero answered, her voice becoming a focal point for his developing fantasy. These calls allowed him to familiarize himself with the family's routine and confirm their presence in the home, all while feeding his obsessive thoughts about what he would do to either Miss Otero or her young daughter Josephine. On that fateful morning, between roughly 7 a.m. and 7:30 a.m., Rader parked his car, walked to the Otero home, scaled a fence, cut the phone lines, and waited in the backyard. While waiting in the backyard, young Joseph Otero Jr. opened the door to let the family dog out. Rader confronted him at gunpoint and forced his way inside. He entered the home brandishing a .22 caliber pistol loaded with hollow point bullets and was immediately surprised to see Joseph Otero Sr. present in the house. Rader had based his planning on weeks of telephone surveillance and believed only Julie and her 2 younger children would be at home at that hour. The unexpected presence of the family patriarch complicated his fantasy scenario and forced him to improvise from the very beginning of the confrontation. He confronted the Otero family at gunpoint, claiming he was a wanted man from California who needed food and a car. He ordered the family to lie down in the living room before moving them to a bedroom. He tied each family member's hands and feet with rope he had prepared while intermittently holding them at gunpoint, his original plans already disrupted by Mr. Otero's unexpected presence. When the bound family began complaining about their restraints, Rader showed a macabre courtesy by adjusting their bonds and providing a pillow for Joseph Sr., who had injured ribs from a recent car accident. Realizing all 4 victims had seen his face and could identify him, he decided to eliminate all witnesses despite initially only planning to target the mother and daughter. He began with Joseph Otero Sr., placing a plastic bag over his head secured with cords. When Joseph tore a hole in the bag and struggled for air, Rader placed multiple t-shirts and additional bags over his head, layering the materials to ensure suffocation. During that struggle, Joseph Sr. bit his tongue in half. He then turned to Julie Otero, strangling her until she lost consciousness. Believing her dead, he proceeded to strangle 11-year-old Josephine until she too appeared lifeless. Rader then placed a bag over 9-year-old Joseph Jr.'s head. Rader later told the investigators that Julie briefly regained consciousness and pleaded for her son. He recalled in court, "She woke back up and said, 'What are you doing? What are you doing?' I said, 'I'm going to have to kill them.'" The scene descended into further horror. Rader responded by applying what he had called a death strangle to Julie, using a rope ensuring her death. He then took Joseph Jr. to another bedroom, secured a t-shirt in a bag over his head with a belt to prevent escape, and left him to suffocate. Returning to the main bedroom, Rader discovered Josephine had revived. He took the conscious girl to the basement, where he hung her from a pipe. After her death, he washed her body in the basement sink before engaging in sexual acts with her corpse, masturbating to fulfill his perverse fantasies, achieving what he had called Sparky Big Time. He then methodically searched the house using his right-hand rule cleanup procedure. He stole Joseph Sr.'s watch and a radio before taking the family car keys. Driving the Otero vehicle to a Dillon's grocery store parking lot, he abandoned it. Realizing he had left a knife at the Otero home, he made a reckless decision that broke from his usual caution. He returned to his own car and parked in the family's garage to retrieve the knife, which he had located in the backyard. It had been left after cutting the phone lines before finally leaving the scene. The horrific discovery came later that day when the surviving Otero children returned home from school. Danny Otero, 14, and Carmen Otero, 13, arrived first to find their family home unnaturally silent. They discovered their father, Joseph Sr., and mother, Julie, dead in the bedroom. Initially thinking their parents were playing a bad joke, they called out their older brother Charlie, 15, who was just returning from school yelling, "Come quick, Mom and Dad are playing a bad joke." As Danny and Carmen ran outside screaming for him, their panicked cries confirmed to Charlie that something was terribly wrong. Charlie rushed inside and immediately noticed disturbing signs. His mother's purse had been dumped out on the kitchen counter, its contents scattered across the surface. When he reached his father's body, he saw the horrific detail that would haunt him forever. Joseph Sr. had bitten his own tongue completely in half during the suffocation struggle. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Charlie tried to call 911 but found the phones dead, the line severed by Rader hours earlier. He immediately ran next door to the neighbor's house to summon help. In the immediate terrifying aftermath, Charlie, Carmen, and Danny told the police they believed their younger siblings, Josephine and Joseph Jr., must not have been home during the attack. Holding on to a desperate hope that the two had been spared, the surviving siblings were utterly shattered when police conducted a full search of the house and discovered the horrific truth. Josephine and Joseph Jr. had also been murdered inside the home. The three surviving siblings were now united in trauma that would haunt them for decades as they became the first witnesses to Rader's brutality.
Yeah, it's hard to swallow.
That's fucked up.
Like I said, he's something else, man. But I mean, it didn't go to plan. That's kind of his, I think that's his MO, really. I mean, he likes to attribute.
Bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
Sparky big time.
That's
I love seeing your guys' face and reaction to it. Me and her knew.
When he told me about it, because I didn't know when I was writing this initially, I didn't know about Sparky Big Time. And when he told me, I thought he was kidding. I'm like, there's no way a grown man calls it Sparky Big Time.
So, like, is that just the whole act of what him?
No,
like,
it's the coming.
It's his ejaculation. Like when he reaches his orgasm, he calls it Sparky Big Time.
Sparky Big Time.
And then I didn't want to put it in because I'm like, I have a real problem. Number one, with just what he did to Josephine.
Yeah.
But then writing, calling him coming with a little Sparky Big Time.
It's pretty messed up. This guy.
No matter which way you put it, it makes you feel horrible to be a
This
man.
was this his first murder though?
Yes.
The one, that we know about. Yeah.
Maybe calling it Sparky Big Time made him feel like he was also 11 years old.
That, I mean,
Could be.
It's very much, I think that, right? Like he did a lot of his early bondage and self photos and stuff. He did that inside his parents' house as a young kid. So I think he had like bits and pieces, phrases like Sparky Big Time. It's probably something he came up with as a child and it just kind of stuck. So,
Don't
but
know
it's
why.
it's a
Maybe if you
creepy
write him a
aspect.
letter, be like, "Why did you call it Sparky Big Time?"
It makes
I
it
should've
so
asked.
much worse.
It
It makes it so
does.
much worse. Like
I mean, it's funny and it's not funny. It's
Yeah.
horrific.
Like, honestly,
it's funny because it's a grown man
It-
calling
yes.
Sparky Big Time.
I'm not gonna say it would make me feel better, but honestly, I could see that being something like John Wayne Gacy would have said, just
Exactly.
because he was a clown, you know. Like I wouldn't expect this.
He
guy,
was a
but-
grown man that dressed as a clown. Yes, I get
Yeah.
it.
And then watching women when he was a kid, he used to watch the neighbors while wearing women underwear.
That too. Could you see him just standing there in silky panties? Just
I don't want to visualize that. Like
Dennis Rader's not the guy you want visualized over top of you doing anything.
no.
So
His prison mugshot that we looked at,
Yeah.
the hair.
is that in here?
what is it?
I don't know if it's. in there.
I'll attach it to the show notes for people. But yeah,
I'm gonna
his
look him up.
prison mugshot is he looks pretty wild, pretty feral.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah, he looks like a math teacher for sure.
Yeah.
But he looks like he just woke up. The kids are all loud, and he's like, "Shut up." What he looks like.
But
Looks like an account
this
for Enron.
this ends up
Yeah.
being what BTK becomes throughout all these murders. He plans so meticulously on what he calls projects or PJs
He plans
for
so
short.
meticulously, and,
And
then
then
he
never- yeah,
just.
Never
Is that a
goes his
pocket
way.
Protector.
Yeah, never goes his way. So walking in and then seeing the father there, that screwed him up. And
He's
the
like a
whole-
guy that just has a black cloud following him everywhere, just
Oh, yeah.
raining on his
Yeah.
parade.
Like fate did not want him to do some of these murders, and he still somehow managed to get away with it. The whole I'm a criminal and I just need your car and your food. That becomes like another play on his MO. He uses that multiple other times with other victims when he gets in like a panic.
Mm-hmm.
And he also, I think,
honestly, that would set, like, if somebody broke in here and said that, you wouldn't immediately be like, "Oh my God, I'm
about to die.
I have to fight
Exactly.
for my life."
Exactly.
You'd be like, "Okay, he just wants my car. I should be fine. I just have to comply, and I'll make it through this."
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a weird ploy to almost
actually-
make you listen.
It's actually really smart when you think about it. But he plans it so that he's going to go in and it's just going to be one person. And half the murders, there's like his planning is so shit.
Yeah, his timing is.
Who calls a place? Like, if I call, I'm going to be able to scope this place out. No, you dumbass. That's not how you case a place.
Well, he mentioned that like every time he called, he was getting sparky big times. It really turned him on to like call. It was that her
Call
not
and listen to you
knowing.
breathe.
Yeah, it was her.
Voice. Oh, it's her. I'm gonna kill her so good.
Yeah, it's her not knowing, right? That's what like made him aroused, is her picking up the phone and not knowing what her fate was
like-
going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But like calling to say that's how I thought the dad wasn't there.
Yeah, well, I think he had just like called the family home multiple times and realized she only picked up. I think he did do some also like surveillance slightly on the house,
Yeah.
but he was prepared, but not as prepared.
He
when
thought
it
he
comes
was prepared.
To,
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
he
those
thought.
errors.
He kind of looks like Heisenberg a little bit. Kind of he looks just like a normal guy, like church going dude. It's crazy.
Well, he was until he wasn't.
And if he wasn't caught, he'd still be going to church. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? if
Giving
he's-
out parking tickets.
Yeah. Who knows if he ever would continue doing it? Because, like you said, he stopped for the longest time.
Yeah, but it's terrible.
I would
The
imagine
Otero
that-
murders are probably the worst in my opinion, just for the fact that
There were kids.
there's kids, and I've said it before on previous episodes, but I can handle brutality when it comes adult to adult, but it's, even though that's terrible in and of itself, but it hits me in a whole new psychological aspect when you involve children. I'm not a big fan of it whatsoever. But
Ooh, that's what he looks
he's
like
an evil
now.
man.
He's like, really, he's 80 years old.
yeah. And for people listening, I'll add all the pictures of Dennis Rader. They'll be on paramurdercast.com on the episode recap, and they'll also be in the show notes. So if you want to look at the pictures that we're referencing, they'll be there. All right. Well, the Otero murders are kind of the pivotal starting point in Rader's story. But
They make him a real shithead.
yeah, let's get into the first time he actually reached
Yeah.
out and communicated after the Otero murder.
Yeah, I want to hear about this crap. Weirdo.
9 months had passed since the brutal slaying of the Otero family in their modest Wichita home. The city had begun to exhale, believing the horror might have been a one-off tragedy. But in October 1974, the killer shattered that fragile claim. A man called Don Granger, a reporter for the Wichita Eagle, and directed him to a mechanical engineering textbook shelved at the Wichita Public Library's main branch. Inside that book, tucked between the pages, was a typed letter that would mark the beginning of one of the most disturbing serial killer correspondences in American history. The letter was clinical, cold, and unnervingly detailed. The writer described the Otero crime scene with precision, details that had never been released publicly. He knew the positions of the bodies, the bindings, and the sequence of events. He referenced the plastic bag over Joseph Otero Sr.'s head, the cord wrapped tightly around his neck, and the way 11-year-old Joseph Jr. had been strangled with a belt. He even mentioned the pair of socks used to gag Julie Otero and the way her body had been posed. These weren't guesses. These were confessions carved from memory. But the letter wasn't just a confession. It was a performance. The writer mocked the police investigation, pointing out that 3 brothers had falsely confessed to the murders earlier that summer while in psychiatric care. He dismissed them with contempt, positioning himself as the true orchestrator of the horror. Then came the signature, a twisted flourish, yours truly, guiltily, BTK. It was the first time the world saw that acronym, Bind, Torture, Kill, a manifesto disguised as a name. The letter's tone was both arrogant and theatrical. It wasn't just about admitting guilt. It was about demanding attention. The killer wanted the public to know he was still out there, watching, waiting, and capable of more. He wanted a name, a brand, and he gave himself one. BTK wasn't just a signature, it was a threat. The Wichita Beacon responded with a cryptic classified ad. BTK, help is available. Call 684-6321 before 10 p.m. It was an attempt to draw the killer out, to open a line of communication, but BTK didn't bite. He had made his statement. The city now knew his name, and that was enough, for now. Though the full letter has never been released to the public, excerpts have surfaced over the years. They reveal a man obsessed with control, detail, and recognition. He wasn't content to kill. He needed to narrate, to direct the aftermath like a playwright scripting his own legend. The first communication set the tone for what would follow, a series of letters, poems, and packages that taunted the police and media alike. But it all began in that library, with a letter tucked inside a textbook, a quiet, calculated whisper that would grow into a scream.
I love how over the years you can see that he absolutely has to take accountability for all of his actions. It really pissed him off that 3 people tried to confess to the Otero family murders.
Yeah, he wanted that fame and glory.
That's the narcissism.
That is narcissism, yeah.
Those guys didn't Big Sparky time that little girl? I did.
That's almost exactly how this man thought. I mean, it really drove him to a breaking point.
Nobody else gets Big Sparky time.
I want the Big Sparky time.
Yeah, he went over it with a few different writers.
That's another T-shirt, Big Sparky time.
Oh my God.
Sparky Big Time.
And
Sparky
French,
Big Time T-shirts.
With French vanilla twists.
A point that I found really ridiculous when it comes to BTK too is every other serial killer that we'll cover, they all got their moniker or their nickname from the
media, and he gave himself one.
He's one of the few serial killers that tried to dub himself with a nickname. And we'll see later on, he even makes suggestions and or edits. When they stop mentioning his name, he writes back and basically says like, why isn't my name in the news? I need to see more things on BTK. But also, if you're not a fan of BTK, here's some other suggestions. And that's in a later note that we'll get to. That's pretty funny. Yeah.
He's like, check out the killings of my friend so-and-so.
Oh man, this dude he's super feeling himself. A lot of people are actually curious if he's writing the book on himself in prison.
Oh, he's got somebody sitting there like waiting for him to give ideas.
Yeah, because he writes
and
chapters.
What do you think about this?
Yeah, he writes chapter suggestions, all kinds of shit when it comes to his correspondence.
But I guarantee that he's not making any money. Like, he can't make money off of it.
No, you can't make money off of anything in prison like that.
No, he can't make, because all the victims, there's definitely been.
I would imagine the money would go to all the victims that he has to be paying or supposed to be.
Yeah.
SSMDF. Sucky McDumbface.
Yeah.
Sucky McDumbface.
I agree.
Good, yeah.
He's one of the few serial killers where I find absolutely nothing even about his psychology curious. He's not fascinating. Like Edmund Kemper, I was always curious because of the fact that Edmund's actually got like a 145 IQ and he's brilliant. And it's weird to see how he can actually almost understand and diagnose himself in interviews. And then you look at BTK and it's like, dude, there's
you know what? It makes me wonder if he's like the original, influencer, because if there was like TikTok back then, he would be all over it.
Could you imagine him on TikTok?
He would be all over it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he
like
would
Facebook
be.
with BTK.
He would be like the Andrew Tate, like I'm alpha dog.
He'd be caught like immediately though, right?
He would also,
He'd be
caught
immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be on TikTok doing trends,
He
like
probably would.
dancing
with the body or whatever, and Sparky Big Time.
That's what I'm saying. Like he would need that attention, but you'll also see later he did not understand technology, and that is
that I'm aware of.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I'm gonna, moving forward, we have all the correspondence from him, and he's definitely a creepy dude.
Speaking of, that first letter they said wasn't really ever released, only an insert. And
I wonder how they were getting the releases if it was. Like,
well, that's what I'm wondering. Do you think like we could get, file one of them, like, what is it?
Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah, and get it.
I don't think you can do that technically on like serial killer.
Okay.
Like I think that he's still under review for like murders that are not closed cases yet, that they still want to pin on him. So I think they're allowed to keep a lot of that
Under
we
wraps.
might be able to find we might be able to
investigation.
find the releases of it on like Reddit.
The few mentions that I kind of got in here that I put are, I would assume, stuff that was talked about by the media, because he's really obsessed with the media. He really focuses on a TV station there called Cake, Kake.
It's our local.
Yeah, it's like
station.
a local, Wichita channel.
Probably like
And-
Fox or CBS or ABC or something.
Yeah, correct. And he really focuses in on that news station. So that's what he did. Is he called Don Granger from there,
Probably
and
his
sent him
favorite.
to the
We could
library
just-
to pick up that. And he immediately opened it up and was just like, BTK.
We could just ask
nope,
him
call
in the
cops.
letter.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can straight ask him in the letter. Like, yo, can you
Tell us what you said.
give us all the information that you said in there? Just bypass the police. Hey, excuse us, pardon us. We're gonna ask this guy directly.
He probably would and be like, "Oh, just ruin them." Ha 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 ha.
He's gonna write back, and we'll do some type of editor update later, and put it in a future episode, and then put all the. I'll take pictures of the letter
all
for
the
sure and
deets.
put it on the
We'll put it on the blog.
website. The website, yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we kind of got a little glimpse now in the fact that he's obsessed with attention
And himself.
and wants all the credit. And of course, that leads into our next killing when it comes to Kathryn Bright on
That's when he
April
was a
4th,
genius.
1974.
3 months later, Kathryn Bright became a target simply because Dennis Rader was driving through the College Hill area one day and saw her going into a house with a friend. In his process of what he called trolling and stalking, she moved from a possibility into the stalking stage, becoming a project he named Project Lights Out. On April 4th, 1974, he broke into her home at 3217 East 13th Street through the east side back door and waited inside for her to come home. He was not expecting her 19-year-old brother, Kevin, to be with her. When they arrived together, Rader approached them and told them he was a wanted man from California who needed a car and money, using the same story he had used on the Oteros to try to ease their fears. The situation began to unravel immediately. He made Kathryn tie Kevin's hands, later coldly noting that the bonds she created were inferior to his own. He then tied Kevin's feet to a bedpost to prevent him from running, and moved Kathryn to another bedroom, binding her to a chair. When Rader returned to strangle Kevin, the young man broke his poorly tied bonds, and a violent fight erupted. Rader, armed with 2 handguns, pulled one and shot Kevin in the head. Seeing the blood, Rader thought he was down and out. He then turned to Kathryn and began to strangle her, but she fought back fiercely. The bonds weren't good, and they struggled back and forth. Just as Rader thought he was getting the best of her, he heard movement from the other room. He went back to find Kevin had gotten up again. Another fight ensued, this time so desperate that Kevin managed to get a hold of the second pistol in Rader's shoulder holster. Rader jammed his fingers into the gun to prevent it from firing, and in the struggle, he either bit Kevin's finger or hit him, got the gun back, and used his .22 to shoot Kevin a second time. Believing Kevin was finally down for good, Rader turned to Kathryn. He was losing control. The strangulation wasn't working against her resistance, so he used a knife, stabbing her 3 times underneath the ribs. The scene was, in his own words, a total mess. She was bleeding and went down. It was then that he heard the front door of the house open. He thought the police were coming. He stepped out and saw Kathryn Bright running down the street. Panicked, Rader quickly cleaned up everything he could. He already had their car keys and ran out to their pickup truck, but it wouldn't start. Knowing he was in trouble, he abandoned the vehicle and simply took off running east, back towards the Wichita State University campus, where he had parked his own car near a park about a block away. Police and neighbors responding to Kevin's escape found Kathryn Bright alive but dying, a telephone clutched in her hand. She was rushed to the hospital but died in emergency surgery from multiple stab wounds and strangulation. Kevin Bright survived, bearing the severe physical scar of a gunshot wound to the head and the unimaginable psychological trauma of the attack. His survival was Rader's critical failure, a living witness who saw the stocky, sweating man without a mask, who could describe the silver watch on his wrist, and who lived to testify decades later, ensuring the killer he and his sister fought so hard against was finally brought to justice.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it, which is Kevin's a badass.
Yeah.
I don't want to give any credit to Rader during that entire attack, just simply for the fact that Kevin is a certified fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shot directly in the head the first time. And then he went back to strangle Kathryn. And then hears him moving, comes back, and this man is trying to leave the house. They fight again. He manages to get a gun away from him. I mean, he almost wins this fight, really. If Rader wouldn't have managed to get the gun back from him, it all could have been over right there if Kevin would have been able to shoot him.
Again.
Yeah. Shot him again. And then he played dead.
It was the stuck his finger in the gun comment that he made.
Yeah, he took it out of battery. What happens with a gun, depending on the gun you have, especially like any that you pull back, they say if you're able to do it, you can put your palm on it and it'll push it back a little bit, which will take it out of battery and it won't fire.
Oh, I
But
took
it's
it as
risky.
he literally just went.
No. That's put your finger in a barrel, it's going to get shot right off. He did somehow he was managed to push the I forget what it's called, the slide.
So you can
back.
push the slide back
Just
and
enough.
where the cartridge pops out when
Yeah.
you fire. You can like put your pinky in there.
You can
so
do
the
that too,
slide
yeah.
won't come back forward, and
It will not.
it might cut your finger, but no matter what happens, that gun won't.
It won't cut it off. It won't cut
Because
it
the
off,
slide's
but
out
it'll
there.
hurt. Yeah.
The slide hasn't pulled back forward. The next bullet hasn't gone up into the
Oh,
chamber yet.
But if you
Learn
take it,
something every
if you
day.
take it out of battery, even after it's pulled forward and the bullet is in the,
I grew up around guns and I
In
didn't
there?
know that.
It's
You
the same
take it
thing
out
with
of-
the,
yeah.
with a revolver. If you put your finger in between the hammer,
exactly,
then
it's not going
the
to fire.
hammer can't hit the bullet.
Huh.
Fire.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I thought he just literally was saying he stuck his finger in the barrel like of trying to be a badass.
Like
Like, dude,
cartoon?
no, you
Nah.
didn't.
Well, bravo to you two for knowing that information. So
yeah.
appreciate it.
I have fire.
So,
I think Keanu Reeves does it in one of the John Wick movies.
well, that's, I mean, again,
I'm trying
he
to find.
got
It hurt
lucky.
like hell, but
Yeah, he got lucky that he got the gun back from Kevin Bright.
Mhm.
I mean, and then this man still managed to run out. And he did testify.
Yeah,
Yeah, good for him.
I'm looking at pictures of him too.
Yeah, he's a badass. There's pictures of him after the attack. I'm going to add those.
Yeah, they did a Criminal Minds episode kind of based on Kevin Bright. Did you ever see that episode?
I did not, but I did see like multiple interviews from him. And I know he was in a documentary about BTK.
yeah, it was loosely based on BTK, and they had a character like based on Kevin Bright.
All the crime scene photos, guys, if you're listening, they will all be up at paramurdercast.com on the recap. The only photos I'm not going to put there are the ones of Josephine. They're not going on our website. I'm not putting the children on the website. So, but all the other photos of the crime scene, they'll be up there. So there is a picture of Kevin Bright at the hospital with his bullet wounds and stuff. He's alive. All the crime scene photos and all that stuff will be easily findable if you go to paramurdercast.com. But yeah, I don't like giving Rader any type of credit for any of this bullshit. But this
I
one's
see.
specifically awesome just simply for the fact that he almost lost the fight. And that's where we said earlier, this is kind of like his MO. He plans so meticulously, and then when he actually gets there, he always has just
Something
the
go
worst
wrong.
timing. Yeah, the worst timing. A man shows up, kids throw it off, 'cause, and they're all like this.
It was like fate. I mean, fate wanted him to fail.
Yep.
I see the photo of where he was shot.
Yeah, and in the forehead and then in the mouth.
Right here and then like right here.
Yeah,
and
so-
being that's a 22, I mean, he got lucky.
Yeah, I think David said it before on one of the previous episodes, but if you shoot somebody with a 22, it's
You can survive.
yeah, that's like the majority of people usually survive an initial shot to the head from a 22.
I would say if it was more toward the temple more, he probably wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, it's like right on the right front side of his forehead, and then there's like another shot to the right side of his mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and then the third bullet, I believe they said, just grazed him. I mean, a shot to the head and a shot to the mouth, and he was still able to get up.
That's crazy. And this was all because he drove by and saw a girl and was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and the awesome part, too, is there were 2 people in the neighborhood that did respond and help Kevin immediately. Like, he ran out, and one of the guys threw him in a car and drove him immediately to a hospital, and the other guy stayed behind and immediately called the police. It was a very close encounter for him, almost getting busted. And then, as we see moving forward now, when it comes to the murder of Shirley Vian Relford, he starts to try to get more meticulous and be a little bit more careful. The next murder of Shirley takes place on March 17th, 1977.
On March 17th, 1977, Dennis Rader's escalating compulsions led him to Shirley Vian's home in Wichita, Kansas. Unlike his carefully planned attack on the Otero family, Vian became a random target during one of his routine trollings through neighborhood alleys. Having abandoned his original Project Green near Dillon's due to closed doors, Rader adapted with impulsive entitlement when opportunity presented itself. Rader employed a calculated ruse, approaching a young boy on Hydraulic Street with fabricated photographs, pretending to need identification while testing the area's dynamics. Following the boy home, he knocked on the door and posed as a private detective to Shirley Vian, showing the same image before abruptly drawing his pistol and forcing his way inside. This sudden shift from deception to overt aggression revealed his brittleness when initial plans failed. Openly admitting he acted on sexual fantasies, Rader explained he would tie Vian up, possibly including her 3 children, to force compliance while enhancing his perverse thrill. He took the anxious young mother to the bedroom while dealing with the children's distress. As they cried and resisted being bound, the chaos clashed with his need for order, prompting him to declare, "It isn't going to work." Working with Vian under pressure, they moved the children to the bathroom, securing the door with ties while adding toys and blankets to quiet them, a brief display of feigned kindness masking his underlying ruthlessness. Returning to Vian, who vomited from terror, Rader provided water and comfort to regain command before proceeding with the binding. He covered her head with a bag and strangled her with rope, fulfilling his sadistic ritual of suffocation inspired by autoerotic habits and subjugation fantasies. The children's continued screaming and banging from the bathroom amplified the disorder he despised, revealing his complete indifference to their suffering. A ringing phone, likely the neighbor checking in as previously arranged, triggered his escape instincts. He conducted a rapid cleanup, wiped away evidence, grabbed his briefcase, and returned to his car. This incident demonstrated Rader's dangerous unpredictability as he expanded from planned obsessions to random targets, reflecting his narcissistic confidence that anyone could become a project for his gratification. Police noted the binding patterns and home break-in similarities to previous crimes, but without solid connections, Rader's expert concealment continued. Vian's murder orphaned her 3 children and shook the community, exposing the core of Rader's pathology, a complete absence of remorse where others' pain meant nothing, and killing served only to affirm his power. This event further refined his BTK identity through trial and error, pushing him toward bolder taunts to authorities while maintaining his facade as a normal family man and church member, a duality he would maintain for 17 more years until his 2005 capture. Shirley Vian's maiden name was Relford. This is an important distinction for accurately honoring her identity and family history. Shirley Relford Vian was a 24-year-old mother of 3 when she was murdered by Dennis Rader. The use of her correct maiden name, Relford, properly distinguishes her family lineage and personal history from her married identity. On March 17, 1977, Rader encountered her as Shirley Vian, while he knew her only by her married name during the attack, the distinction of her maiden name Relford is crucial to understanding her full identity. She was Shirley Relford before she was Shirley Vian, a daughter, and then a wife, and a mother, with a life and family connections that existed long before she became a victim of BTK. This correction ensures her memory is accurately preserved. She was not merely a target for Rader's compulsions, but an individual with a complete personal history. Her surviving family and 3 children left behind would remember her as both Shirley Relford and Shirley Vian, a woman whose entire identity and legacy extend far beyond the brutal circumstances of her death.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure to put that in there. Her family requested that she be called by her actual name, which was Relford.
And we couldn't figure out why we kept seeing everywhere Shirley Relford last night.
Yeah, it's literally everywhere. So if you go look up Shirley, you'll see Shirley Vian, you'll see Shirley Relford. You'll see it everywhere between 2 different podcasts and news reports and police reports. And then when I finally looked up the police report, they had her under Shirley Vian Relford. And I finally found an article that said that like her family requested that she be called Relford. And so I figured, me and Amanda figured it would be proper to actually refer to her as both.
But we couldn't figure, nobody was explaining why they were calling her Relford. We had to dig for so long.
So we figured it would just be nice to go ahead and put both of her names in there. That's the reason we did that. And yeah, it's kind of a break in his normal routine too, just sporadically killing somebody.
And he didn't kill the children.
Yeah, no. Locked them in the bathroom with toys.
They only kill 1 child
and blankets.
No, he killed 2.
He killed 2. He killed both the Otero kids.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
2 out of 5.
Yeah. But
And it's like, I wonder if that was before. Was that first murder before or after he was married with kids?
Oh, he was already married with kids.
Yeah, he was married with kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering if that could have been a thing where it was like, he didn't have kids, killed kids, and then now he has kids, and now he's like, I don't want to kill any.
I think he didn't kill the kid. He was going to kill the kids, but the phone rang.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he was going to kill the kids there, but the phone rang.
No witnesses.
Yeah. And I mean, when they did find his stash and stuff that he had, because he had like caches hidden and stuff after his capture, he had child pornography and kids binded, and he was really bad for getting online and finding illicit images. And then he would draw the bindings that he likes over top of them, like use a Sharpie and stuff and draw the bindings over top of them. Yeah, he was really into all that. He even like drew pictures himself. There's tons of sketches. Again, I'll put them out on the episode recap, but there's tons of sketches that he did himself. Like he would
of kids
and adults. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He didn't distinguish if it sexually turned him on.
I mean, I didn't know that he did sketches of children.
Yeah.
I didn't know he did that either.
Yeah. And he planned like devices and stuff. One thing that I didn't put in there, so I can just go ahead and mention it now, is he also he idolized other serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
So like H.H. Holmes, he idolized the Murder Hotel. And so he did have drawings to where he wanted to make a bondage barn, is I guess what we would call it.
Oh, I knew about that.
Yeah. He wanted a 3-level barn with like an office at the top of it. And he wanted to capture victims and bring them in and have extended torture sessions with them, you know, and bind them and stuff.
Didn't he have like a little nook under his house where he kept things?
His biggest cache was found at his parents' house, I believe.
I knew it was at his house or another. It was like underneath the house.
Yeah, he kept most of his stuff at his parents' house to keep it away from his family.
Yeah, I'm just reading about it. He had a fascination with barns and silos.
Yeah, and the barn was, that's what he wanted, like a bondage barn.
And it looks like investigators are using this to try and identify specific locations near the Kansas and Oklahoma border.
Yeah, I left out some like small details, like during his like collecting of caches and stuff. One of the things he took was like a bracelet or a necklace. It was a necklace. He took that from one of his victims, and he actually planned on giving it to his wife. And then he was like, no, that doesn't feel right giving this to the wife. So he gave it to his daughter.
That new documentary I watched on Netflix with his daughter, they're trying to identify new victims.
Yeah, using stuff that he gave them.
Yeah.
Because
he just needs to look at his bondage barn up and erect a strangulation silo right next to it.
Oh, look at that. But justice.
Got
So-
ideas, man.
I mean, that's really what he wanted.
How crazy would it be if there was a bondage barn somewhere that he had they haven't found?
Yeah, his drawings are crazy.
That's what I said. His drawings are off the wall. I'll put all that stuff in the recap for people listening. He had some demented thoughts, and like I said, he really did idolize other serial killers. So he wanted to do stuff like H.H. Holmes. He referred to himself kind of like Jack the Ripper in one of his letters. He's the biggest douchebag ever because instead of saying Ted Bundy, he liked to
Ted
refer
from the East.
Ted from the East Coast. And then people are like, who the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, you know Ted from the East Coast? And people are like,
Like they were buddies.
what? And he's like, yeah, Ted from the East Coast. And it's like, Ted
Okay.
Bundy? You mean? You fucking douchebag? Yeah, this dude 100% wanted to be like best friends with him. And the funny part is he, in terms of serial killers, doesn't hold a candle to like any of the guys he idolized. And he still yet thought that he was going to be on like their same playing field. Like, I didn't put it in here because Amanda was like, yeah, don't do it. But I wanted to name our episodes. I wanted to call him
God,
the
please.
Thirsty Bandit. I wanted to call him the Thirsty Bandit because one of his MOs he tries to push is that he drinks a fucking cup of water at most.
Like he's such a genius.
Yeah. Other than the Otero family, he drank a cup of water at all these other victims' houses and then wiped it off. But he literally reported to like the lady that wrote the book, and even in court, he even said it was like a tee-hee-hee moment. Like he would drink water and be like, oh, look at me. I'm being risky.
Like they didn't
I
know.
was drinking bleach.
Yeah. Yeah. But he would drink water, then wipe the cup down and leave it there.
Like,
And
they're never gonna know.
yeah. And then when police were like investigating the multiple homicides that were going on, he said that he was literally watching it like, why aren't they putting together my MOs? I mean, I cut the phone cables and I drank
your glass of
water. And it's like, get the fuck out of here.
Like
dude.
he's going in there and making himself a full meal
Yeah.
and sitting down wearing their clothes.
Ooh, who was that? Richard Ramirez?
Yeah,
Was that the Night Stalker?
I
that he
think it
did
was
that?
the Night Stalker.
I think the Night Stalker, yeah, he made food and stuff in victims' houses. But no, he just drank a
That's probably
fucking
why he
glass of
started
water.
doing stuff like that, or possibly part. I mean, it is
I
part of
wouldn't
his
doubt
MO.
it. I
mean,
wouldn't doubt it because he idolized other serial
yeah.
killers.
So
like I
he
said.
would copycat
Yeah.
some of their MOs.
Yeah, like he really wanted to copy H.H. Holmes with the
Mm-hmm.
barn. He wanted his notoriety to be on the level of like Ted Bundy. That's why I think he also thought that he was like doing smart things by looking into the law because Bundy was a lawyer or almost a lawyer. So
He probably was sitting there and go, I could do it better.
and he references magazines all the time, man. He's like, oh, I did this because I saw it in a crime magazine. Fucking congratulations,
Yeah.
buddy. But yeah, I wanted to call him the Thirsty Bandit. And Amanda was like, don't do that.
He wants to be a part of pop culture.
Because it's so dumb. Nobody is going to understand the episode.
You know
name.
what? I don't care. They'll grow to love me. They'll grow to love me. Whoever's listening,
They're
they'll
going to
grow
be
to
like,
love
who's
me.
the Thirsty Bandit?
The Thirsty Bandit. That is BTK.
Mm.
I'm making it a t-shirt.
You can make
If I
it-
can't put it on the fucking episode, then we are going to have a BTK t-shirt that says the Thirsty
You
Bandit.
can make it a t-shirt.
Because I will
Should
wear
get it. Says the Thirsty Bandit versus the Wet Bandits, and then put Marv.
Put Marv on there.
Yeah, Marvin, Joe Pesci's character. I forget his name.
Yeah.
The
So-
Thirsty Bandit
Yeah.
versus Sparky Big Time. It'll be a
Yeah.
face-off.
But yeah, now we start seeing he's going to start reaching back out with letters after his next murder. So his next murder was Nancy Fox, and that was on December 8th, 1977.
On the night of December 8th, 1977, Dennis Rader carried out one of his most controlled and premeditated attacks, taking the life of 25-year-old Nancy Fox. He had stalked her extensively, learning her schedule and movements with obsessive attention to detail. After knocking to ensure she was not home, he cut the telephone lines and entered through the back window, positioning himself inside to wait. When Nancy returned, Rader confronted her with a rehearsed story, claiming he had a sexual problem that compelled him to bind and assault her. She smoked a cigarette under his direction, visibly distressed, while he went through her purse. Her resigned remark, "Well, let's get this over so I can go call the police," captured both her fear and her resolve. Rader allowed her to use the bathroom. When she returned, she had not fully undressed. She kept her top on. He handcuffed her and bound her feet while she remained partially clothed. He then removed some of his own clothing, placed her on the bed, and strangled her with her own belt, a method that reflected his long-standing fascination with control and asphyxiation. After she died, he carefully removed the belt, incorporated pantyhose to reinforce the bindings in an elaborate knot, and masturbated on her body. He redressed, took personal items from the home as keepsakes, and left calmly for his car. The next morning, he called the police from a payphone and stated with cold detachment, "Yes, you will find a homicide at 843 South Pershing. Nancy Fox." This was the first time he directly inserted himself into the investigation, a calculated move that fed his desire for notoriety and control. The murder marked a turning point, emboldening his communications. In February 1978, he sent a package to Cake TV and the Wichita Eagle containing a poem titled, "Oh, Death to Nancy," a macabre parody of the American folk song, "Oh, Death." The package listed his victims to date and explicitly demanded media attention, asking, "How many do I have to kill before I get a name in the paper or some national attention?" He suggested names for himself, including BTK, and claimed to be driven by a supernatural factor X that also motivated Jack the Ripper. This letter was traced to a copier at Wichita State University.
Yeah, this is the letter where he brings up his other nicknames. And the other nicknames suggested in this letter are the BTK Strangler, the Poet of Wichita, the Psychotic, and the Wichita Hangman.
Okay.
Lame.
It's the Poet of Wichita for me.
The Poet of Wichita,
The Poet of Wichita.
which is ironic because he's actually pretty terrible at writing poems.
The psychotic sounds like an old 70s exploitation horror.
You can just feel how
60s, 70s.
how hard he's reaching.
That just makes me think of a Scooby-Doo villain.
It
Yeah,
does.
it does.
It
Which one?
does.
Ruby, Ruby, Roo!
The fucking
Unmask him.
psychotic.
Oh no! Like a
Scoob.
We knew it was you all along, psychotic.
How would Scooby say psychotic?
Rycotic.
There you go.
Nailed it.
I would have gotten away with it too if you weren't for you meddling kids. Let's find out who it really is. That was Fred. The BTK killer. That's everyone. He's like, that's what he says.
The Wichita Hangman sounds like one too.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
They all sound like he sat up with a bowl of cereal one Sunday morning watching cartoons. Like, that's it.
Well, to me, the Wichita Hangman sounds like a ghost in
That
Supernatural
does, yeah.
that
Yeah.
Sam and Dean
Supernatural.
had to fight.
Sam and Dean's burning the bones.
Yeah.
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 Get the salt.
It's terrible to
Sammy.
watch this man read.
I was literally about to go, Sammy!
Sammy.
If you're listening, Sammy.
Dean, don't.
Dean, don't. I have to. Because I'm Batman. I meant Dean.
All right, let's read this
Real,
poem too.
before that, real quick, I did have a question. How did they copy that letter, or how did they trace that letter to a copier at Wichita State University?
So
Like,
most of the
how?
time when you send a fax,
Yeah. Was it a fax he sent? I thought that you just sent the letter.
Sorry, the letter. So most of the time when you copy a letter,
Yeah.
Sometimes the metadata is stored on the actual printer itself. So I'm assuming somebody, like probably an IT person, was probably scrubbing the metadata of the printer and noticed that the letter was in there. And
Well, but what made them go, well, this letter they sent was copied from this one? How did they, what was the clue that led them to that other than the letter? Was there information on was it a printed out letter or was it on a USB drive?
It was printed. So
Okay.
I assume it was just luck of like an IT person that found the letter residing in.
There's a thing with printers. When you print anything off, there's microscopic dots in there and everything that if somebody knows what they're looking for, they can find the exact serial number of the printer that printed that piece of paper.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I forget what it's called.
Ink's also a very big giveaway as well. You can tell like inkjet versus Xerox.
Yeah, but how many other machines in the US used that?
Printer steganography.
Yeah.
DocuColor tracking dots, yellow dots, secret docs, or machine identification code.
So I'm assuming it's probably around what CJ pointed out. That's probably what was used to trace it back. Well, let's get into this brilliant man's poetic side. Amanda, would you like to do the honors of reading Oh Death to Nancy?
Oh, I would love to read Oh Death to Nancy, and I promise I'm going to try to be serious while I read the Poet of Wichita's poem. Oh Death to Nancy, what is this that I can see? Cold icy hands taking hold of me. For death has come, you all can see. Hell has opened its gates to trick me. Oh death, can't you spare me over for another year? I'll stuff your jaws till you can't talk. I'll bind your legs till you can't walk. I'll tie your hands till you can't make a stand. And finally, I'll close your eyes so you can't see. I'll bring sexual death unto you for me. BTK.
What a Shakespeare.
That's like a C minus.
Like a D.
I'd give it a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10?
Yeah, that's about us.
No clicks for the guy?
No.
He
no,
doesn't get
Yeah.
snaps.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I mean,
Just making sure.
I feel like honestly, this was like something that that was probably like a freshman in high school.
Man
could've
needed
wrote.
AI in his life. That's what he needed.
Wouldn't have known how to use it.
No, that's very true. But yeah, he takes a shot at
He
it.
would have
The
asked if
first
it could be
3 lines
traced.
were all right.
Mhm.
But after that, and especially the second part of it, I'll stuff your jaws.
till you
That's where it just went
get
bad.
veered. What's he stuffing their jaws with is my question.
Ricotta. he's making stuffed shells.
Ricotta?
Ricotta.
Like the first 2 lines are great. The third line is all right, and then it's just bad after that.
Hell has opened its gate to trick me. Yeah, I don't know. He's all over the map. He takes another attempt at poems on his next attempted murder.
But it does also seem like this last one we read, he's had some practice and now he's a little bit better at it. Because this one seemed to have gone to plan, where he stalked her, saw her schedule, and actually was able to get inside knowing nobody was in there.
Yeah.
Waited for her. She didn't come home with nobody and proceeded to not. It seems like out of all the ones we read so far, this one did not turn to a full blown mess.
Yeah, he definitely gets better as
Mhm.
time goes on for making less mistakes. But it looks like we're right up around our time that I'd like to be at, guys. So it looks like that BTK is going to turn into a 2-part episode, which we are not going to make you wait very long for if you're listening. So we're going to make sure now to handle 2-parters a lot cleaner than the longevity of waits you guys had to endure on the last 2-parters we did. But that's going to be it for part 1 of BTK. So join us again, part 2 of BTK. And I will ask, if you are listening, please do us a favor. It'll help us a ton. On your favorite podcast platform, please follow. And if you can, just go ahead and drop us a rating and a review. Any type of comment helps. I don't care if you critique the show. I don't care if you have a suggestion. And I will also point out, if you're listening, we are going to start doing a new thing. We want to get my stories into the show. I would like to get anything that you guys got that's a story in your life, whether it be true crime or whether it be paranormal. So if you go out to the website at paramurdercast.com and you go to contact, there is a submission form down at the bottom for your My Story. If you send that, we have an email set up that me and Amanda watch, and it is our My Story email. So go over there. I don't care how long it is. We're going to read it on the podcast. So, submit your stories, whether it be true crime or whether it be paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
And I am working currently on a phone that you guys can call and then leave your My Story via a voicemail that will play.
Dude, we're going to get so many creepy
Just to
voicemails.
clarify, it's going to have to be an actual story. It can't just be like ridiculous words. That
Yeah. I mean,
it needs to be a story.
yeah. Tell us a good story. You know what I mean? If it's something that happened in your life, we would like to know. So
Yeah.
I'm especially hunting for people who can put in paranormal stuff.
Yeah,
man.
same. I
absolutely adore hearing people's paranormal.
do too. And also,
Situations that
if
happen.
they're good enough, and we want to elaborate more on it, we may try and get a hold of you guys to see if we can.
When I said actual story,
check
what
stuff.
I meant was like
Don't call us heavy breathing, please.
I mean,
no, like
If you do,
it can
we'll
be
have- no,
fiction,
I'm joking.
nonfiction. Just
We'll have
like
Sparky Big Time.
ooh,
make sure it's a story and not just like a random communication with us or something like that.
Yeah. But actually, if you do want to just randomly communicate to us, if you're on the website and you're at that My Story submission form, if you look just to the side of it, there's one for feedback that you can use to your heart's content. If you want to message in and say that these guys were all incorrect and I should have called him the Thirsty Bandit, then you can go ahead and send that in. So if you're listening and you agree with that, send it in so I can rub it in Amanda's face.
and have Sparky
The
Big
Thirsty
Time.
Bandit would have been fantastic. So, and I will have a Sparky Big Time. So, but you can use
also-
that one to your
yeah.
heart's content.
You can also, hit us up on Facebook too. Because if you go into the Facebook, you can leave comments on, our posts or anything like that, and just say, "Hey, I have a story." Maybe
Absolutely. We're all constantly watching.
there's
that to talk to
there's
you guys.
plenty of places you can go to try and get a hold of us.
I'm on Facebook all day, guys.
So our Facebook, just so you guys know, is all the social media links are on the website, but you can find us on pretty much any social media platform at the PM Cast. So we are abbreviated, the PM Cast. So Facebook is Facebook/the PM Cast. Our TikToks are at the PM Cast. Our Twitters, everything is at the PM Cast. So
Yeah, put your hashtags as well. Hashtag Sparky Big Time.
yep, hashtag Sparky Big Time, and make fun of this douchebag Dennis Rader. So that's going to close it up though for part 1 of Dennis Rader BTK. We will be back for part 2.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you join us again. Until then, may your nights be restless and your dreams haunted. And beware the things that go bump in the night.